Hey there, so I wanted to make a video for you guys to let you know how I discovered I had celiac disease. While doing so, I'm going to make you one of my favorite things for dinner is this red lobster cheddar bay biscuit mix that is gluten-free. I eat it all the time and I really enjoy it. While I'm making it, I'm going to tell you my story of how I discovered being celiac disease and being gluten-free diet. I do not know how to bake. I do not know how to cook. I am just simply reading the directions on the box while I'm telling you guys my story. So if you're on here to see how you make food, don't ask me. I really have no idea. But anywho, so what is celiac disease? Celiac disease is like an autoimmune disease where your immune system reacts to gluten. Gluten is something that we eat almost on a daily basis for people who are eating normal foods. Gluten is a protein that you could find in wheat, barley, rye, malts, flours. It's in everything. So doing this diet is a little bit more tricky, and that's how you solve the gluten-free. It's open. But celiac disease, to help treat it, the only thing you could really do is do a gluten-free diet. Now this is the hardest thing I'm going through right now. So I'm learning how to do it. I'm learning what I can and can't have. Going out to restaurants, having friends over, everybody sticks everything in your face. You're like, I don't think I can eat that. So I'm trying to stay away from certain stuff. It's a learning process, believe me. But anywho, how I discovered I had celiac disease was years ago. Some of the symptoms are a lot of GI upsets, and I get a lot of GI upsets through the past like 10 plus years. My mother-in-law always told me you should get tested for celiac. Now, just to let you know, all of my in-laws have celiac disease. So they were telling me that you have most of the symptoms, you should get tested, see if you truly have it. University of Chicago actually has free clinics or free testing in October. So me and my husband would go to these testings like once a year. Now, the testing was just a blood work, and within normal limits, I think, was 0 to 6. So when we got our test results in the mail, I was always within normal limits of not having it, but my point system was pretty high up. I would have a 4.9 or 5.2 on the scale. So I'm like, oh yeah, I'm fine, I don't have it. And then I'd ask my husband and his parents that don't have it, but they have the carrier of it, anywho. And they would tell me, oh, well, mine's only like a 0.1 or a 0.2. I'm like, oh, well, mine's kind of higher than everybody else's. Oh, well. Down the road, it increasingly kind of got worse. In October of 2022 is when I noticed I started having some weight loss because I was nauseated 24/7. For almost like 3 months straight. So I asked my doctors who I work with at this GI clinic, and they told me just get your scopes done. Well, as a nurse, I don't want to do my scopes. So one of the doctors asked me, well, do you think you could be pregnant? And I said, how dare you, good sir, I'm not pregnant. So I took a pregnancy test just to make sure, and lo and behold, I was not pregnant. So I decided to finally get my scopes done. Now the scopes I had done is called an EGD and a colonoscopy. With the EGD, they take biopsies of your small bowel to test for pathology if you could be, have celiac disease. Celiac disease, your small intestines get affected or they become inflamed if you have gluten. That sounded funny, gluten. So with that, with my testing, the small bowels get inflamed. The small bowel is your small intestines. That's where you absorb all your nutrients from the foods that you eat. And being allergic or having a gluten sensitivity, it starts affecting your small bowels. So the small villi in the intestines become shorter, blunted. You could start getting malnourished. You're not absorbing the nutrients. Your small bowels or small intestines are getting inflamed, and they're not becoming damaged. So for 3 months straight, I was completely nauseated. I knew nothing was gonna come up, but I just didn't feel good. There was like a pit in my stomach, and I just didn't feel good. So we did an upper scope EGD and lower scope colonoscopy, and they took biopsies of my small bowel. And the doctor called me back that weekend and said, "Hey, just so you know, pathology says it could be celiac disease." Okay, great. Now what do I do? Well, they followed up with a blood test, the same blood test I would get at the University of Chicago. And now, instead of being 4.9 or 5.2, mine, from an average of 0 to 6, mine was at 11. So they confirmed that I had celiac disease. So now I'm doing a gluten-free diet with the help of my in-laws, with the help of Facebook support groups, trying to find new ways to eat food or to make things. You have to have separate butter containers, a separate peanut butter, separate toaster, just so you don't cross-contaminate anything. So it's been really hard and eye-opening. I'm trying to do better in my daily life about it, but we'll see how that goes. Anywho, okay, so I made them into little patties, and they're gonna go in the oven. They're gonna be so good. I just love this freaking biscuit. So that's how I became to know to have celiac disease, getting my scopes, getting blood work, and now my symptoms are way better. If I do eat something that got cross-contaminated, or I ate something I didn't know I should, my symptoms are getting a pit in my stomach and getting very nauseated. Other people have different symptoms. It's a severity according to each person. Everybody has it individualized. You could get, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, bloating. Some of my in-laws get very tired, get migraines or joint pains too. So it's just a whole change of your diet. So that's why I'm making these cheddar biscuits, because it's one of my favorite things to eat on this gluten-free diet, because I know I can have it and it tastes really, really good. So that's it for now. Okay. So while those are in the oven, I just want to let you guys know, if you feel like you're having a lot of GI upset, especially after you're eating things, you can always find a gastroenterologist who I work for, and just ask them these simple questions. They could do simple testing and figure out what's really going on. I really feel like celiac disease is something that's coming more into light, and it's being more diagnosed. People are seeing that it's more common. A lot of the restaurants now have a substitution for gluten-free. A lot of course stores have a gluten-free aisle. So it's way easier to get gluten-free substitution for your daily life, living, diet nowadays than it was like 5-10 years ago. So if you're having any questions, ask your doctor, because it's the best way to feel better about yourself, and get things back on track. Yum. I ran out of silverware because I haven't done dishes yet, so I'm using a big wooden spoon. Or just dripping on it. Oops, that was too much. Oh well. Oh my gosh, so good. Oh my gosh, so much butter. So good. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed my little video of how I discovered I have celiac disease. If you want to follow me on more of my adventures of learning new things about celiac disease, please hit the follow, like, and subscribe. Thank you. Oh yeah, that's the spot.